Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Dominions 4, Thrones of Ascension, Byzantine Pythium. So, I thought we'd do something a little different this episode, and instead of what I normally try to do, which is hurry things along so that we could see the battles and see movement, I think that our current situation is one in which we would benefit from some reflection and thought. So, I want to kind of slow this one down and go through some potential avenues we can explore in order to defeat this giant threat that we have up here in the north. The good news is Oceania is at war with them, and I would be surprised if Ulm wasn't at war with them as well. And up here we have Ermor, which is just right across the hills from them. So we could potentially cross through here. Scaleria is over here. So they have their own problems, and hopefully that will keep us alive for a bit longer. That and the fact that to the south it appears that Ermor and Ulm don't want anything to do with us, so this large army of 150 undead is a bit troubling, certainly. We shall see how that goes. I have changed my recruitment up. I'm recruiting cheapies, basically, to fill a large army. Now, I'm not really too concerned about the fact that they have less protection, since the giants will pretty much kill anything they want, no problem, whatever. The morale's a bit of a pain, but it's not that big of a deal. But I'm also here in the home province recruiting Triarius, and again, I hate the fact that they're old. It pisses me off, because I think it makes them weaker, but apparently people claim, you all are claiming in the comments, that they are good and they can hold giants at bay, so I'm going to take your word for it and see what, I mean, they're expensive as hell, but we're gonna give that a try. I'm recruiting Theurgs and Mass, although here I can't really recruit anything with magic, so I'm not recruiting anything. And here, same deal. I mean, I was just recruiting cultists and ambassadors to go scouting, and I'm moving them around, but I'd rather save the money. Now, I'm having Yeknotimus cast manticores, because I love manticores, and they have fear, so a few of them would certainly help us out, but for the most part I'm going to stop it with the animal summoning to preserve my gems for other things. Primarily, I'm going to go with a huge magic offensive, incorporating pretty much everyone from the capital. I may have to get rid of some of my research items and put them away for safekeeping, because I'm going to send out some alchemists. And what I'm going to be doing, well, let's talk about it. Let's look at the spells that we have to work with here. First off, in Conjuration, okay, we have Contact Harbinger, which, by the way, I will be casting as soon as I get Burnsaber back to the capital. But in addition to that, well, then the Manticore. Actually, maybe I don't want to be in this path right now. This would be a good spell to cast. To make it makes all wizards more powerful, including the enemies, but, you know. Okay, but moving to Alteration. So, we have Swarm, which I think it's been suggested by more than a few people, and I think that I'm going to go with it. It requires a nature gem, but I can give a couple of my lizards a nature gem and have them just go to town with this. A few nature gems each, maybe 3 each, and have them basically create a wall of bugs that the enemies use this against me multiple times, and I've always laughed it off, but that's because they've never really used it in a concerted effort. And the reason why I want to use it is certainly not to defeat the giants, but to tire them out from my troops that are waiting behind. I think for that purpose, assuming my guys don't get fatigued too quickly, that would be a pretty helpful spell. I do need to make sure I have enough gems to cast it. Another spell that I've looked at is Destruction, which an area of effect 6 is actually pretty good, and it would cause all of the armor of the giants to break, so they'd be unarmored giants, and I think that is something that I could get behind. But another thing I looked at was Curse of Stones, which would basically put one of my Earth Mages out of commission for the whole rest of the battle, but it would infect the entire battlefield, and it would cause all the giants to get fatigue. So, and they're pretty heavily armored, so that's not a bad idea. Both of those seem to be particularly useful to me. Another spell I was considering using with my water Theurgs is Quickness, which I've been trying to protect and etherealize my Vestals and my Varangians, and while perhaps that has been helpful, I think quickening them would be even better, because defense is worthless against giants. So, you know, they have a lot of strength. It doesn't really matter. Whereas quickness would add to the defense of my Vestals and my Varangians, making them harder to hit. And since giants are so big, you can't get ganged up on by them. So the defensive penalties of having more than one attack per round will not affect my guys that much. So in essence, it will increase the longevity of my troops, and it will give them 2 attacks per turn as opposed to 1. The problem, of course, is it only affects 3 guys at once, and so it takes up the mage for a whole turn, and so if I wanted to even cast it 3 turns in a row, it would give me 9 guys that are quickened. Not a huge return on investment there. So I've been considering that as well. Next we go down to evocation. Obviously, my alchemists that have 2 fire and 1 water, I'm going to want to do Alchemist Flame, which we've seen in action before and is a pretty decent spell. The ones that have 2 water, we have Acid Bolt, which has been told to, I don't use it, but it's been told to me that this is one of the best spells in the game. And it destroys armor, it gives a area rust, it's armor piercing, it has good attack, and it's like acid damage. So if I just have them shooting this out, maybe 2 or 3 guys, that could certainly be helpful as well. I was looking up here at, where is it, Acid Spray, but you have to actually get right next to them in order for that to be effective. So an Acid Rain, I don't think until I get to Construction 6, is it, where I could forge the water bracelets, that I'd even have guys that are capable of doing this. And of course this would affect my units, I believe, as well. I'm not entirely sure. Well, not complete. It would just be kind of dangerous. It'd be great if I could have it, but I don't think any of my guys can. It was also explained to me that if I do go the destruction route and ruin the giant's armor, that Blade Wind would be a pretty effective spell then against them. So we're talking about stuff that my gnomes would use. And so I'm trying to plan it out for everybody here. And then I think that's pretty much where we're at. So we have the lizards spamming bugs, and I would definitely need a few more nature gems before that's going to be a real possibility. And then I would have my alchemists either doing the alchemist fire or the acid. I would have my gnomes destroying armor left and right, and then finally blade winding, assuming that they still have some energy left after all of that. And my traditional theurgs, depending on what they have, Tokshin here has air, and Astral, he'll probably just mean like stellar fires. I thought I had someone with water in Astral. That might have been poor Demetrius. So I am recruiting more. So if I do get some more theurgs with water, if that is to happen for me here, I would utilize them. Did I just do that? Yeah, I did. You're all watching me, and I did that. That was great. And I would have those guys, I don't know, either quickness, perhaps, or numbness, or I don't know. Do we see anything that was really great that was just water? Freezing Mist they couldn't do because they either have water or air. They never have both. Same with fire. Falling Frost would be the next best thing, and I won't have that yet. So yeah, 3 water wouldn't do much for them right now except for being able to quicken my troops, and potentially numbness, which is somewhere around here. I believe I have it, I just don't remember where it is. Sailor's Death is an option. The lungs of a small number of targets are filled with water, armor negating, but I would need to be in a communion to get up to 3. Paralyzed we've already seen. Yeah, nothing here that's too desiccate. Well, we've seen desiccation already. I mean, that's okay, but not great. And we don't have any enchantments, so that's worthless to us for this situation. Kraken, no. Okay, so these are all summons. Well, we could summon a water elemental in battle, but that would take up a gem. What I might want to do, though, is start getting my commanders ready for this fight. And obviously the way to do that is through forging. From my water guy, I would like to forge... Well, once I get to construction 4, I would like to forge the bottle of water. Hopefully that's 4 and not 6. That will give all of my commanders, such as General Wallace, a water elemental bodyguard in case of assassinations, and it will give him a water elemental in battle. Another thing I was thinking of giving General Wallace, he's full right now with the luck in this, but I can get rid of this, is to switch him out with a staff of Ice Pebble Staff, as opposed to this staff. He doesn't need the extra leadership that this provides, and combustion is not that helpful against giants, whereas numbness, I think, would synergize nicely with what we're trying to do. So we have... Oh, and here's Glauchon, by the way. He is a named gnome. He will be going into battle. I have given him Air Shield and Luck, and I'm also eventually going to give him the hat that gives you Reinvigoration. Plus, they're going to have Summon Earth Power. I've been toying with the idea of giving a gnome a Crystal Matrix so that he can be the leader of a communion, and by doing so he can cast Summon Earth Power and give that Reinvigoration to all of my slaves, which will make them more powerful. The thing is, I don't have that many slaves. It depends on how many turns go by between now and the time that this eventual epic battle versus Ashdod is going to take place. If they beeline straight for my capital, we're in a bit of a spot. Also, these plans might all go out the window if I get attacked with any ferocity by Ulm or Ermor. But I do have, in the capital right now, 3 gnomes ready to go fight. I'm going to send out all my alchemists. It's going to hurt my research, which I'm already behind everybody else, but it is what it is. And all my lizards, everybody but the Theurg artisans are going to go out to fight. And not Giatros. He will stay. And that's pretty much it for right now. So that's kind of what I've been thinking. That's kind of my plan. So let's go through a turn and see how these plans kind of unfold, and let's see what movements of Ashdod do to contribute or take away from these plans. For right now, I'm having Photios Dark Knowledge, I'm having Giatros Auspex, and I'm having Darius Voice of Apsu and Sarpuhi Arcane Probing. So any place that we already haven't site searched, we are going to be doing so to try to get us some more gems, since right now that's our big deal. That's what we need to make this happen. And hopefully I'll be able to get Fangolwolf and King Midas safely back to the capital. They may attack here. Maybe we have what it takes to slow them down. I don't really know. We'll see. We have a lot of random stuff. We have 2 lizards. We have 2 acolytes. One, Menelaus still has his Pearl, so he can do Power of the Spheres. So, yeah, I mean, everybody's really lined up as best as they can be in the instance. I've got my Varangians in a line in the front, with Vestals kind of hitting from the flank to maximize the surface area for those of you who are physics people. Alright, well, here we are. The AI is thinking. It's thinking how to defeat me. Okay, we have a Manticore. No Earth. Right now, we're in time period where we've got a Death Sight. Excellent. But we really need more than this. 1 air, which is great. Air is what we need more than anything else in the world. Rivia. Isn't Rivia where Geralt, the Witcher, is from? Geralt of Rivia? Is he not? Perhaps not, but that seems like a thing there. Alright. So, of course, this is the Foul Scalarians. They are sure making hay with that Frozen Heart spell. I wish I had it. I mean, look at how it tears through these cavalry like nothing. Although, giants have substantially more hit points than heavy cavalry, so... But they are sure doing well with it. And it doesn't appear as if the Marignon priests are being very effective with their banishing. Everybody here in the front is undead, and their living troops are fighting against our heavy cav, who is now running for his life. Man, this battle is sure taking quite a while. Oh, that Frozen Heart, and they just keep spamming it like crazy. It pretty much kills everything it hits. Like, I would be nervous to use one of my angels as in a thug action against these guys, because they would just freeze the heck out of his heart. Okay, the Promised Land. This could be bad. And it is. This is going to be very bad. Unless they attack me with the minimal force, which of course they are not doing. You know, this is hilarious because I have watched Tokshin's Agartha videos, and he has these 3 gigantic armies of Scalarian troops, like hundreds of troops each outside of his one castle, and they keep sending like 10 guys at once at him. And yet for some reason, in my game, Ashdod is bringing the house in every single battle in which we fight. And that is not cool, man. Not cool at all. Looks like everybody made it here, but that could be a problem if they all get killed. So, we'll see. I would have really hoped that they would have gone up north, or they would have, yeah, is combustion doing anything? Let's see. Not a thing. Not a thing, unfortunately. They are fire resistant. 6, which is not a lot, but it's enough. So those combustion stabs that they have are pretty much worthless. But let's see if the line of Varangians can do some damage here. We do have province defense in this fight, but it looks like my Varangians made it to the front before they did. Okay, so we're doing fine except for the fact that their god is in my backfield, going after Menelaus and Urbaba. I don't think there was anybody more important down there. I think all we really had was Fangolwolf, Midas, and Banshee. And it looks like Banshee is ethereal, which is good. So, but that's bad, because all my troops are up front. But if we could somehow get their troops to rout... And the archers seem to be hitting her. Down to 86. She's... well, she's not fatigued out. But... I mean, we are... It appears that we are killing giants. I don't know if this is actually the case. When we look at the score graph afterwards, it might say we've only killed like 7 guys. But we're pretty much near the end of this battle. We lost Sarpuhi, but we may take her out. That would be something else. Meanwhile, these guys need to run. And it looks like they are, so that's good. We tried to paralyze her, did not yield success. And we did induce some of them to rout, it looks like. What are you? A long-dead giant. So not only do I have to deal with living giants, I have to deal with their zombies as well. Our archers are making a stand here. If some random little unknown archer takes out their god, that is going to be really... Boom. Just as my armies rout, their god falls in battle. And I think everybody's going to make it out. Kaliaros, you've done good work today, friend. Alright, so the question really becomes... Uh-oh, Masters from Ashdod, you killed our god. Ha ha ha! Poke in your eye, suckers! Of course, that was my third, if you're counting, third field army that has been completely decimated, owing to the fact that, unlike every other army that I've ever led, these folks are amazingly high morale, and they fight to the death. I mean, when you combine Varangians and Vestals, it's pretty much they're going to win or they're going to die. And unfortunately, this time around, they died. But we took out a Rephite commander and their god. So I will take that. We lost a shaman. So all of our named friends made it out. The question is where? If they're up to the north, they're cut off and probably dead. Mountains of Madness. I think Tokshin was all we had here. No, I guess not. So they captured Mountains of Madness. We had a griffin. Well, that's good. And Sirna. Marignan seems to be taking a back seat and letting himself be attacked. But I can't really complain because, as my part of the alliance hasn't exactly been stellar in terms of defeating my enemies. Dispater is going to get nailed here. And I think Marignon has this. Their own Fire Drake doesn't kill everyone. Alright. So, Banshee. Banshee, you were in trouble. Everyone else made it out alive. Or made it out. Well, yeah, alive too. So, alright, well, Banshee, I'm sorry, buddy. I did what I could for you. Perhaps they will leave you alone. You have 23 province defense. You have some Varangians, some Vestals. They're going to guard you. We'll put you up on the flank, or you're already on the flank. We'll put them around you, and we're going to hope for the best. We've already shown that your combustion is pretty much worthless against them. They've split up their forces, which is good, unless these are all brand new raised troops. We killed their god, which is going to take them some time, hopefully, to bring back. And, I'm very sorry, Banshee. If you had only run to the south like every single other commander, you would have been okay, but you chose to not do that. And I don't know what magic sites we had here. Hopefully it wasn't something that we couldn't afford to lose. Burnsaber. Burnsaber. Are you not here in the capital? What? Oh, yeah. Alright, well, whatever. There's no point in getting mad. Okay, we're out of sites to find. So Yignotimus, you're gonna stay here. Oh, really? I thought my dominion is 1 hot, and these two are both heavily in my dominion. Why? Did I not do 1 hot? I could have sworn my dominion had one heat. But apparently not, since none of these places are 1 heat. Unless one of these thrones gives me cold. No. No. I have no idea. I have no idea at all. Send him in there. Send you down here. These ladies are... Oh, okay, they're moving their troops away from the front. I really think that Ermor wants to be friends. Like, I think that they don't want to be my enemy. Which is fantastic. Are you dying? No, you're good. Alright, so we have... In case, lest we forget, we have Yams, Tolmac, and we are 1 backwards here as far as our named heroes are concerned. They also have an alchemist here to help him out, I guess, and 2 slaves and a lizard. So it's a pretty decent force, but they seem to be doing okay. We're going to continue recruiting cheapy troops here. Our income is dropping rapidly. Let's get Galerius back home. We should have done that last turn, actually. This loses us a turn's worth of troop massing. Here is a comedian slave who I recruited for this purpose. And now we'll recruit another one as well. More cheapies. And here at home... Oh, we're repeating recruitment. Okay. That works for me. So I was going to summon a Harbinger this turn, but it looks like we'll have to wait till next turn to do that. So some good news. Well, all of our troops are now together. So when we fight the giants next, we will be able to fight them en masse with all of these mages. Hopefully that will yield some kind of appreciable result. In fact, I looked at the leaders, but I didn't even look at the... We took out 22 giants, which is not shabby. I mean, that was almost a fifth of their force. 5 Edomites, 6 Amorites, 3 Gileadites, so it was kind of all over the place. We took out pretty much everyone except for these Ahiman Anakites, which are their toughest guys. We'll have to figure out a solution to them. But we did alright for ourselves. I mean, we did lose 71 units, granted, but 71 little people versus giants. Roughly equal, 35 Vestals, 35 Ranchins. These These ones are beasts. Maybe I shouldn't be recruiting these Triarius. Maybe I should be spamming Vestals and Varangians. Maybe the problem up to this point has just been that I don't have enough of them. Maybe if I have like 4 terms worth of them. Declonius? 16 gold, 29 resources. 20 gold, 20 resources. So what am I doing? Why is this not where we go? The Varangians have proven themselves to me. And I think about how quickening them will fix things. Now, I have no idea here why this has been closed. It is winter. Maybe because I have 1 heat, I guess, and since it's the height of winter, that turns it into temperate. And I always thought they were only closed if it was cold, but apparently it's closed even if it's nothing. So I should have maybe taken 2 heat, perhaps. Either way, the gnomes will stumble their way towards the front lines. It appears that Ulm and Scaleria are at war, which is excellent news, unless they decide to take this gigantic army of ogres, infantry, and guardians, 180 strong, and start attacking me. But if they move back around, let's say here, and go after Scaleria, that is great news for Ulm. There's Pythius. Let's see here. Doesn't say what the... This guy's an assassin, but I don't want to send him up against like a giant or something awesome. Just a little human commander of Scaleria. So, he's also a spy. No, he's just an assassin. He's a spy. So these two should probably work together. He can tell what leaders are in a province, and he can kill them. But for right now, there's really nothing, so... We'll keep fidgeting around. Actually, once we get into here, we get into Ermor's lands. And like I mentioned, they are actually kind of our buddies right now. All the strange things. So we'll move him back up. We'll leave Ermor be until they do something that leads me to believe that we shouldn't. Marignan has very little defense in these provinces, which makes me very unhappy. And their fort here is under siege. Hopefully they'll be relieving it soon. The negative about Ermor is that they are everywhere. They probably have the most land of anybody. They probably have the most troops of anybody. We got hit pretty hard now, but we still have more army than Ashdod. Marignan is, oof, they're taking it hard. And Oceania. Ulm is looking big, but Ulm and Scaleria are having a nice little battle with each other here. And Ermor, of course, is just reigning supreme because nobody's fighting him. Nobody wants to, and I don't blame them. Here's where I got really hurt. I'm here now. I'm at 3 forts. Looks like Scaleria... No, it's Ermor, I think. Ermor is at 4. Scaleria is at 6, along with Ashdod, and Ulm is at 7. So I'm drastically behind on the forts. And here's why forts are good. They give you extra troops, obviously, but they give you a lot of production and money as well. And they're expensive, so it takes a good investment of money and time to build a fort. So if you have 7 of them, that means that you have a shit ton of money, and that I bet you Ulm does. And we don't, obviously. We can't spend any money on temples or forts or anything because we have to spend it all on troops. Our income is no longer top of the world. It was for quite a long time, but now Ashdod, which is unhappy to me, they are the top, followed by Scaleria, but we are still in the hunt. We're still above Ulm. Marignan just hasn't been able to get their feet off the ground, but here's where we reign supreme. Look at this gem income, even after losing provinces. We have so many gems that our comparative advantage in this fight is going to be our mages, and we're going to use them. Our research, unfortunately, is pretty shitty, but it's better than Ulm. So I guess we could tell ourselves before we go to bed at night that our research is better than the country who hates all magic. Slightly. Marignan's actually beating us here. And really, Ashdod is low on the research, as is Ermor. So that's pretty good. If we're going to beat them, it's going to be through this, and then we'll catch up, hopefully, to be able to tangle with these guys. Scaleria is looking pretty dominant, but whatever. Ulm and we still have the strongest dominion, with Ashdod coming in at 3rd. So it's in our best interests to take Ashdod down, because they're confronting us both in god power and in manpower. Ermor and Scaleria's dominion is dropping like a rock, and Marignan has no dominion because they are our dominion. So actually this is kind of a cheap lie, because it's a combination of what I have and what Marignan has. And we have slightly... We're here, right? Or are we? No, so we have slightly worse army size than Ashdod and Marignan. And the big three here are ahead of us, which is good that Ulm and Scaleria are at war. But what this does is all three of these, Ashdod, Scaleria, and Oceania, are at war with me. And if Ulm takes a look at this and says, hey, look at how weak they are comparative to me, the AI will say, we should kill them. And especially Ermor here. I think Ermor might be one of those AIs that are cautious AIs. So maybe that's the reason why they haven't attacked us. But we have 3 throne points. Ulm has 2. Scaleria has 3 as well. They have this, which is growth +1. Oh, I love this. Precision +3. Oy, oy, oy. That is... I think I just shook the microphone in my anger there. Sorry about that. Spreads Dominion at level 2. I don't even think my Earth Throne does that. No, just 1. Blessed troops get reinvigoration 1. Did I notice that before? I don't know if I did. All of my mages are blessed, so that's a good thing. And Ashdod only has 1, Throne of the Stars, but it does give them 2 Astral. And Ermor has 1, but it's a level 2. And their blessed troops get defense +3, which is terrible. We don't want to fight them anyway, but we definitely don't want to fight them with +3 defense. So, next episode, we are going to see Burnsaber summon an angel for the first time, and this is a good angel. It is an angel with awe and invulnerability, I believe. So while they're not going to be going toe-to-toe with armies of giants, we hopefully can sneak them behind the giant lines and start attacking some giant province defense, which I think we might be successful at. Not sure quite yet what to kit them out with, whether to go with the traditional brand route, which isn't that helpful, I guess, when you're only attacking one guy in a thing, or maybe something like a Sword of Quickness that gets 2 attacks. Although that doesn't give a lot of damage, so we'll figure something out. But that's my plan for my angels, is to kind of use them. Maybe in the big battle they'll be there, but I also want them to kind of sneak around the back and raise some cane. So I was told by someone whose opinion I respect that they wouldn't put money on my chances of victory in this LP, but I have done research, I have looked at spells, I have listened to all of your very helpful advice, and thank you all so much for that. Honestly, I would be nothing without my viewers, and I hope that in comparison to other Let's Players, I do a good job of involving the community in what I'm doing, because that's what this is about for me. I'm not really here to make money off of this or anything like that. To me, it's almost kind of like a social thing where I get to interact with you all and what you think of what we're doing. So, at the same time, of course, educating the world about how great Dominion's 4 is, and hopefully inspiring some of them to purchase the game and join the multiplayer community. But, alright, well, thank you so much. Have a good one, everyone.